The second and final story of the day is also very important to me. Brexit, you guys know what's going on in the UK. They had a vote, and the working class and lower class and middle class and classic English people stuck it to the establishment, voting for Brexit to get out of that deal and to basically assert themselves as England as opposed to, France and Germany micromanaging, controlling everything they do, flooding their country with millions of migrants who are statistically, you could just read in Reuters or Guardian or pretty much anything, knife crime is up, gun crime is up, violent crime is up, rape is up, female genital mutilation is up, overall violent crime is up. They're going backwards when it comes to safety and security, largely because of the failed refugee crisis, largely because of the fact that, they're micromanaged by all these other UN and EU, and the people know that, so they voted for Brexit, and the people won. So not only did the UK not pass that, I have no idea what they're doing, I'm not following their drama, but it's been 2 years, they're trying to fight it like they're trying to impeach Trump, because this is what psychopathic authoritarians do. When they don't win, they lie, they cheat, they steal, they do everything, they steal your money, they own 95% of media, they cheated and rigged the election so much, they still didn't win, so they freak out and do all this stuff. The reason I'm talking about it now is because there's an HBO movie coming out about it. Oh, I'm sure this is going to be totally fun and not biased at all. The Brexit movie on HBO, coming in early 2019, starring everybody's favorite Benedict Cumbercuck. No, I'm just kidding. Benedict Cumberbatch. I've never even seen a movie with him, but I just thought that was funny. Sorry, I'm sure humor is outlawed in England. I'm sure I can't travel there. They'll probably arrest me right when I land. Benedict Cumberbatch is in Brexit, the HBO movie. Excuse me. I watched clips of it. They said hacking the electoral system. They're accusing basically the Brexiteers of restacking the odds in their favor. They're talking about racism, social media strategy, toxic culture of fear and hate. So these propagandists are so ridiculously hungry for power and control that they can't even wait until Brexit actually happens or doesn't happen. Like, this hasn't even happened yet. It's in the crosshairs. They haven't even figured out what they're doing. Like, there's all these fake referendums. Like, people are like, anomaly, cover Brexit. That's why I don't even cover like the Mueller investigation or the Clinton stuff, because wake me up when something happens. Same with Brexit. Like, tell me when something goes through. I could talk about it and speculate for 2 years, like everyone they think they're so woke doing. That's fine. It's good to talk about, but like either something's gonna happen or something's not gonna happen. I'm not really a man of words. I'm not gonna run in circles for 20 years of my life with hope and change. I'm not saying I don't think things are gonna happen. I do think justice will prevail, but like, what's the point of talking about it for 2 years? People have talked about it for 2 years. Where are we? Nothing happened in Brexit. People have talked about Mueller for 2 years on the left. What's happened? Nothing. People have talked about all this other stuff on the right. Nothing happened. And when it happens, 2 years of talking about it doesn't matter. It's somewhat of a waste of time. But what isn't nowadays? I mean, people could argue that I'm wasting my time, but to each their own. Anyway, they can't even wait until Brexit's finished. They're putting out this propaganda where they're trying to say, and this is how sick these people are. It's so mind-boggling how big of a fail they are. But they rigged the election. Like, the Brexiteers didn't rig the election. Trump didn't rig the election. Facebook rigged the election. Google rigged the election. Twitter rigged the election. Hillary Clinton had 2 times as much money. In UK, the press is even worse than it is in the United States. They had Sky News, I believe, which was like a Murdoch, Fox sort of thing. And they got rid of that, or they got rid of the only conservative station they had. So they have like a total authoritarian press. They have hate speech laws in the UK. If you talk about, refugees in the wrong tone, which I'm not saying is the greatest idea, but I'm not saying it's not a crime. Like, when someone posts a meme that I don't like, I might get mad and be a snowflake for 5 minutes, but I'm not going to arrest you. That's what they do in the UK. They've arrested thousands of people for Facebook and Twitter posts. They have an authoritarian press, basically, that they don't say all sides. So it's not like Brexit. This is how it's so annoying. They have 95 to like 99% of the press in the UK. They have all the social media companies. They have all the celebrities. They have all the culture. They have they have everything going in their favor. They've rigged every aspect of almost everything. And then they lose Brexit. And they can't handle the fact that they rigged everything. They were supposed to win, and they lost to the working people who finally rose up and got mad at what they were doing. instead of learning, and like a normal person would be like, you know what, maybe I should have campaigned, like in the America, maybe I should have campaigned in those states. Maybe I should have done press conferences for hundreds of days and not hid from the press. Maybe I shouldn't have just yelled at half of America and told people they're bad because of the color of their skin. Maybe I shouldn't have went so far down the woman trail. Maybe I should have done this and that. Like, that's what a normal person would do when you lose. They don't do that. They say, wait a second, we need to put out a propaganda Brexit movie to brainwash people into thinking this is what happened with Brexit. I can almost guarantee you that whatever Benedict Cumberbatch and HBO, whatever they say happened in Brexit, I can almost guarantee you that's not what actually happened in Brexit. But this is how they control history. Like, when people and authoritarian regimes win wars, they burned all the books, they stopped people from dissenting, they controlled the press so no one could argue with them, and then that's what everyone believed because there was no other information available. That's what control freaks do. Benedict Cumberbatch, on the other hand, I didn't have anything to say about him, I just wanted to say Benedict Cumberbatch again because I think it's funny. But this is what they're doing in the UK. They lost the election, they own all the press, they're losing a large support of their people, so they have to put this movie out, and then in 10 years, you're not going to know what happened in Brexit. You're not going to listen to Anomaly. They'll probably try to delete all my videos off the web. You're not going to hear what Nigel Farage or Boris Johnson said. You're not going to be able to find this information because Google is actively hiding this information. And Benedict Cumberbatch with his Brexit HBO special is going to be all that people see because it's very well lit and, it's very professional with 4K Red Dragon cameras or whatever. And everyone's going to be like, oh, that's what happened in Brexit. Oh, man, I really know what happened in Brexit because I watched the Brexit HBO movie. Like, man, that was a crazy time in history. But here's the thing. That's not what happened. The Brexiteers didn't rig the election, just like Trump didn't rig the election. Hillary put together, and first of all, this is not according to me. This is according to Donna Brazil, who's crying, saying she's closing her shades at night because she thinks the Russians are coming for her. Hillary bought and basically purchased the DNC because they didn't have any money, so she got them out of debt, she purchased them, she funded a fake dossier of like British intelligence spies, literally colluding with foreign people and foreign agents to create this narrative that doesn't exist about Trump colluding with foreign agents, set up a meeting. Fusion GPS was talking to these Russians. Next day, they're in Trump Tower with information for Don Jr., like, oh, they just randomly met with Fusion GPS the day before, and now they're with Don Jr. Like, the whole thing is a setup. They did all of these things, but they control the press. Like Donald Trump and Malcolm X said, they make the good people look evil, they make the evil people look good, and then they rig search results, and then you have whatever his name is. I don't want to butcher his name because then people will say it's racist, even though it's not. But the CEO of Google's like sitting in front of Congress. He's like, no, we just don't do anything. It's all the algorithm. It's like, no, you're not, bro. You rigged the algorithm. The whole algorithm's rigged. And then you have 10,000 fact checkers like basically liberalize the search results that are already liberalized. They liberalize on top of liberalize on top of liberalize. And then they're like, oh, it's the conservatives who are cheating. It's not us. They're rigging it. It's Steve Bannon had good data. It's like, just read reports of what Obama was doing during his campaign. He was actively getting all of the data from these companies, not like accumulating data a different way. Hillary or whatever his name, the Google CEO, or no, what was his name? Was it the Google CEO? Yeah, I think it was Larry Page or whatever. Don't quote me on it, but you had someone, a high-level person at Google wearing a Hillary campaign staff. You had Facebook emailing them being like, what do you need us to do for you? Like, it's not a secret. Facebook wanted Hillary to win. Like, I don't even think they would lie about that. Google wanted Hillary to win. Twitter wanted Hillary to win. Jack Dorsey would tell you to your face. And they didn't just let it play out. They literally axed the DNC leaks hashtags. They actively censored their own platforms in favor of liberalism that they wouldn't do. For Trump, they do the opposite. They make it the featured news story, even though it's not true. They rigged the election. They rigged Brexit. It's the left. And I'm not saying that the left's responsible for everything, but they own like 95% of the press and all of the tech companies, and they rig all of their stuff. Although I do want to say on a positive note, Facebook has been very, very kind to me, and although YouTube's search result algorithms are incredibly rigged and they put mainstream media at the top even though they don't deserve to be there, I will say, just because I never compliment Google, but I do want to compliment them. They have a suggested searches, like when you log into YouTube, they have suggested videos for you that algorithm is very, very good. That has videos that I would want to watch, and I do think that's a large reason why I'm getting a lot of views on YouTube. I come up in that suggested searches algorithm. That's a great algorithm that I don't think is biased, and I think that bothers the left wing. They're like, they're working with the right wing. It's like, no, they're rigging it for you, but you guys still suck. It's like putting the basketball rim. It's like I'm shooting at 10 feet rims, you're shooting at 2 feet rims, and you still can't win. Then they lower, and then they say I cheated. It's like, no, they rigged the whole basketball court for you. They gave you a little Fisher-Price basket, and you still can't score. Now they got to make a Brexit propaganda movie with Benedict Cumberbatch and saying, oh, they hacked the electoral system. No. The establishment had everything. They had all the tech. They had all the media. They had all the celebrities. They had all the politicians. They had all the money. They had all the power. They had all the control. And they still lost. That is the true Brexit story. Maybe I'll make a Brexit documentary video with a cooler actor. I'll be the cooler actor. And I'll say, hey, the working class people stood up and stuck it to the liberal elite class or the conservative elite class, and the working class people of Britain finally got sick of high taxes and finally got sick of rising crime because millions of people who hate Western civilization and literally want to turn, Britain into an Islamic state. And it's not like a theory, or I'm not saying every Muslim refugee or immigrant in the UK wants to turn Britain into an Islamic state. I'm not saying that at all. But there are probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, if not tens of millions, that literally do. And they're not hiding it. Like, this is not, people think, oh, you're such a mean person. No, I have Muslim friends and supporters that, say God bless me, and I say God bless you. Allah is great. That's fine. As long as you're not killing anybody and you're being nice. God is great. I agree. But these people exist. They're on Instagram, like, posting. I'm like, does no one see this? They're like, yo, Europe belongs to Allah. It belongs to Islam. And you're like, okay. So anyway, what I'm saying is there's multiple reasons. It has nothing to do with even race or racism, because religion is not a race. But you have a situation in the UK where a lot of things are happening at once. This is why Brexit happened. It's not because Benedict Cumberbatch got a HBO special and lied to you and said that they hacked the election. That's not what happened. It was the other way around. It's the left ruining and hacking everything, and they still couldn't win. But you have people, they got universal health, whatever, and sorry, I get so worked up with this stuff, I don't know where to start. But you have people paying high taxes, paying into the system. They're not making that much money. Yeah, same thing. They're not, whatever. Then you bring in hundreds of thousands of people from these countries that were unvetted. So a lot of them have literal terror affiliation groups. Not all of them, but some of them. And even the greatest ones and the nicest ones, that's fine. But a lot of people, they take out of the system. So you have the British people paying into the system. You have these new people taking out of the system. A large portion of them don't like them specifically. A lot of them are adding to crime, violence, all these rates that you wouldn't want to be added. And you have authoritarian speech control where you can't say how you feel in Europe. They don't have free speech there. You literally get arrested for saying something that's true and unpopular. So you add all these things up. That's why Brexit happened. That's probably not going to be in this HBO special, but this is how they propagandize people through music, TV, movies, documentaries, and things that they portray as truth. And the craziest thing about Brexit is it didn't even happen yet. It's not even fully pushed through or blocked or whatever they're going to try to do. It's still in the works, and they're literally lying about it. And you notice they're doing this quicker than ever nowadays. They're talking about doing a whole Khashoggi featured film. It's like, dude, the dude died last week. You're already doing a featured film. They have an Edward Snowden documentary. Or a movie. He's such a revolutionary, great guy. If he's so great, why do you have him locked away in Russia? If you really think he's such a revolutionary, this is how fake our society is. The real person that actually exists is banned from our country, but they make a movie about how great he is. So they make tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars off of him being a good person, while he, for being a good person, if that's really true or not, is in Russia. And same with, it's like with Brexit, with the moon landing, the Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds. I didn't even know they were different people until 2 days ago. Someone said, you said Ryan Reynolds, it was Ryan Gosling. And then I did a Google search and they look really similar. I was like, oh, I didn't even know those were two different people. I thought they were the same guy with just like altered facial expressions or something. Anyway, the moon movie, it's like the propaganda moon movie. We went to the moon. Okay, yeah, for sure. but the American flag's not there. Why in the world would you do a moon movie with no American flag in it? Like, that's some straight up communism BS. Like, even if you're gonna do a propaganda moon movie, like, go ahead, do it. Make everyone think we went to the moon. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, whatever. Don't Steph Curry me and try to ruin my life. I'm just one person saying some things. But anyway, they take the American flag out of the movie. Like, if there's any more obvious propaganda, because they can't have people liking America or the flag, it's like, you're altering history. It's not only a communist propaganda scam to make people not love their own country as much as they should, but you're literally changing the course of history. If what they said is true, which is probably not, and we went to the moon and they planted a flag on it, and just like they said, that's history. That happened. Yeah, Neil Armstrong planted a flag. So they make a movie about the moon and don't have the flag in it. They're lying about their own history. So if what they said is true, now they're lying. Which one's true? Because you just told two different stories. They planted a flag, they didn't plant a flag, and I'm the conspiracy theorist for asking questions about it. Even though with the moon landing, not to get too off-thing, I'm not saying we didn't go or we did go, but what I am saying is the oldest living scientist, or whoever he is, Don Petit of NASA, said we don't have the technology to do that, we destroyed it, and it's a painful process to build back again. What? Okay. We gave fake moon rocks to Holland. We gave them petrified wood and said it was, okay, that's not sketchy. We deleted or erased over the tape. An agency that gets tens of millions of dollars daily didn't have a spare tape, so they taped over the moon landing tape. Oh, yeah, that's believable. And we lost the telemetry data. We don't know where it is. Yeah, for sure, but I'm the conspiracy theorist because you altered the flag out of the moon. It's like, these people are so ridiculous. It's crazy. But before I leave, I just want to say one more thing about Brexit and about England, specifically American politicians and how they talk about England. Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they always tell you that France and UK have the greatest healthcare and we are in an industrialized modern world because we're not following France and UK. Okay, so even if that was true, which it isn't, Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they're wooing the minds of millions by saying that UK and France have better healthcare than we do. Here's how you know that they're wolves in sheep's clothing. They're talking about a place in UK. They don't have free speech in the UK. I'm not saying you can't reference the UK as a beacon of hope in some ways, even though it's really not. It's in every way, shape, and form kind of lacking America. But anyway, you could reference that and say they have good healthcare, but do you notice that Bernie Sanders or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they never say that the UK doesn't have free speech. They never say that thousands of people are getting arrested for Facebook posts. They never say that they have like authoritarian, press and police state where you can't literally speak your mind or speak a truth, which may be true, which may be mean, which may not be mean at all. Because when you say hate speech, I know people who hate the truth. I might say your shoe's untied and they might get mad. Well, that's the truth. I'm sorry that makes you mad. The truth is hate speech to people who hate the truth. So they've already gone way off the deep end with hate speech and arresting people via speech. If you're going to mention UK as a great liberal or progressive era, you would think they would mention, yeah, but let's not do that. Let's do that, but let's not do that. They don't do that. And the answer is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people who want to believe in this stuff. But the reason that they don't tell you that they don't have free speech, the reason that they don't tell you that the crime rate, that the murder rate, that the knife rate, that the violent crime rate, and this is not right-wing news outlets reporting this. This is The Guardian. This is, from Newsweek to Reuters have all reported this, although they try to cover it up and then tell you later. They're not doing very well in those regions. Speech and crime, they're going downwards. They don't tell you. Bernie and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez don't tell you because they don't care. They don't care about free speech. Ted Lieu recently said, although he backtracked, he was like, if it was up to me, I would regulate speech, but we have the First Amendment, so, I agree with the First Amendment. It's like, I would never say that. I would never say, oh, if I could, I would regulate all speech, but I can't do that because of the First Amendment. But I support the First Amendment. I'm glad it's there. Well, no, you don't. You're secretly, you would love to regulate speech like England. All left-wingers, they have this creepy, weird control thing. And Bernie and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez won't tell you. They've never talked about the fact that they're talking about France's healthcare. Meanwhile, they're rebelling against their government because of high taxes. They won't tell you that. They won't tell you that because they don't care. They prioritize stealing your money and big government and singular anti-free market scams. They prioritize that over free speech. They prioritize that over freedom. They prioritize that over everything that really makes America great, although there's things that we lack in, because they don't care about that. There's a reason they never do specials on that, because they would rather get their plan and let speech go to the wayside as long as they can get their plan across. And I don't want to put words into their mouth, but could you imagine if I sat here and told you that Pakistan was really great, and Pakistan, like, we should follow what Pakistan does. Pakistan has the best healthcare. Man, we should do it. Like, Pakistan is blowing us out of the water with this. If I ever said that, I would say, but Pakistan is like, an Islamic state that has blasphemy laws, and maybe it's good for people who are Islamic, but if you're Christian or you're atheist or you're gay or you're a woman who loves liberalism, Western liberalism, you're not going to like Pakistan because they don't really allow freedoms to women as much as they do here. To each their own, that's their choice, but they don't allow free speech. It's blasphemy laws. You can get killed or arrested for speaking out against the religion or the prophet or anything that they want you to not speak about. Like, I would tell you that because I'm not a complete shithead. I would be like, like, I'm going to compliment these things about Pakistan. As I do, I even compliment Islam a lot. I'm like, I don't, if they want to do that with women, like, as long as, like, that's, I don't know, to each their own. I'm not trying to micromanage the whole world. I compliment them, but I'll tell you the full story. I would never compliment a regime that goes against all of our liberal values and never mention it. That's what Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez do with France and England. They talk about it all the time, but they never talk about the authoritarian Orwellian speech laws. It's because they don't care. It's because there's a reason that everywhere liberalism and progressivism goes, high taxes go, unfettered immigration goes, a tanking system goes, because you bring in millions of people. They don't care about crime. They don't care about murder. They don't care about rape. They don't care about human trafficking. They don't talk or care about any of this stuff, because their policies and their ideology goes hand in hand with the rise in almost all of them. Everywhere that they go, speech laws, come into existence. Everywhere that they go, high taxes come into existence. Everywhere that they go, unfettered immigration that doesn't work goes into play. It's okay. It's not about certain people or certain religions or races or genders, although maybe that's part of it in certain ways. It's about, like, common sense, and, like, it's just like if you opened a house with a free buffet. I mean, maybe it works, but, like, in certain ways, it's like you just want to have a structure to it. It's like if anyone could just do anything at any time, now that's probably right-wing. That's like anarchy, where you just kill each other or whatever, or maybe the world would be utopia. I don't know. But there's a reason that everywhere, sorry, I got a little off topic. There's a reason everywhere that they go, those things follow. And there's a reason that they never talk about it. And it really bothers me because I don't want to lose our free speech here. I don't want to lose our liberal values that they claim to care about. And they never mention all of those parts of UK. And on that note, Brexit HBO movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch. I'll say it right this time. Total propaganda movie, even though it didn't already finish. And people should really scrutinize anything that they've read, anything that they've watched, historical stuff. Now that we see how they're acting in the last 2 years, it really makes you think about a lot of things that I never thought as deeply about, like how much they lied about, what else is lied about, what movies are distorted. There was another movie earlier this year, real quick. I forget what it was called. It was like Rich something. It was like a movie about the CIA, like I guess like selling drugs, like pretty much what they did. But They made the guy look in the movie. I don't know if any of you guys have said what it was. It was like Rich something, or My Rich Daughter, My Rich Brother, or something. Anyway, they made the guy look like he was really, really poor, and the CIA was working selling drugs with him. And the sister of the guy who the movie was based out came out and said, the movie's lying about everything. Like, we were not poor. We were upper class. We were wealthy, or like we were like, doing pretty well. So why would they lie about that? It's because if you know that our government or elements of our government is working with people, you know what I'm saying, that are well off and stuff, it doesn't seem so like random or movie-like. But when they're poor, it just seems like, oh, they had nothing, they were just down and out and they just had to do it. Like, no, it's this whole scheme. It's not like poor people doing crack, selling millions of dollars of drugs. Like, it's a whole operation that they want to frame in a certain way so they can control the narrative, make themselves look better than they are, and have people think that something happened that it didn't. They do this with almost every historical movie. Yeah, they'll tell you like 80% truth, and then they'll skew and write it. And in some cases, they have like agents or ex-operatives literally writing the script. I mean, I don't even want to get into all this stuff, but It's truly crazy, but this Brexit movie, it's total propaganda. I hope people realize this, and it's just sad that people voted for something, they rigged everything, they still lost, and they have to not only lie about it constantly, but make documentaries and movies about it, flipping reality and trying to pin it on Trump and Brexiteers, saying that they cheated and rigged everything, when it was literally the opposite's true. But how long are you going to be able to see this stuff? Google will try to hide it, Facebook will try to hide it, Twitter will try to hide it. They make it as hard as possible to find the truth, and when you say a truth that is outlandish and maybe should be debated, whether it be climate change or moon, things that are controversial, but I would like to see an intelligent discussion from both sides about both of those topics. They don't do that. They ridicule you, they harass you, they make you look insane, they pressure your entire life like they did to Steph Curry. They're never letting him live this down until you run in a corner, you cry, you apologize, you say you were kidding, and you have to give it all up, whether it be immigration, whether it be climate change, whether it be moon, whether it be one of 60 topics that, regardless of what you believe, is an open discussion as long as we have freedom of speech. Everything's an open discussion. Nothing is closed. The science is not settled on universal and, Earth-like stuff. We haven't even explored most of the Earth. I could get into that. But anyway, don't give into that as long as we have free speech. Don't end up like the British, who are getting propagandized by Benedict Cumberbatch and... Never. All right. Sorry, I ran into a wall there, but I just want to make a last joke. That's the story. Brexit HBO movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch. Just totally inaccurate portrayal, but this is what they do, and who knows when they'll stop. Have a good weekend. Sorry I got upset earlier, but I'm not really sorry. It wasn't that big of a deal. I appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend. I'll be back probably Monday and new stuff.